The man, visibly angry, jabbed his finger at Leong Chao. His voice was full of indignation as he barked out a warning, demanding to know how Leong dared to push him. He boasted loudly about his father being the chairman of Tianxin Group, trying to assert authority with family connections. But Leong Chao didn't flinch. He stared directly into the man's face and coolly dismissed the threat, saying that he didn't care who his father was. In his eyes, a real man would never stoop to bullying a woman. Yet beneath that serious expression, Leong Chao's thoughts were far more smug and playful. He praised his own performance mentally, thinking his acting had hit the mark. He even promised to reward himself with an extra drumstick later for pulling off the scene so convincingly. Just behind Leong Chao, Lin Mingxi stood still, watching the entire confrontation unfold. She was visibly skeptical. Internally, she questioned the situation. After all, this same man had just been creeping on her moments ago, and now he was suddenly playing the hero? It all felt strangely familiar, like something out of a melodramatic novel. She couldn't shake the feeling that she'd seen this kind of script before. Leong Chao then turned back to her, putting on a concerned face. He asked if she was okay and offered to take her to the hospital or even help her file a police report, sounding every bit like a knight in shining armor. But while he said the right things out loud, his inner thoughts revealed his true intentions. He was hoping she'd gratefully throw herself into his arms, and that would give him a perfect excuse to exchange contact info with her. However, Lin Mingxi wasn't buying it. She answered in an irritated tone, brushing off the drama, and saying that it wasn't that serious. An apology from the man would be enough. Just then, the man in the white suit exploded with anger. He accused Leong Chao of playing the hero and asked who he thought he was. Fueled by rage, he whipped out his phone, threatening to call his people. He shouted into the device, telling someone on the other end to gather the boys because someone dared to meddle in his business. He declared that Leong Chao was finished. In response, Leong Chao matched his aggression with his own glare. He shot back that it was the man who had been harassing a woman, and now he had the audacity to act like the victim. He told him to go ahead and call whoever he wanted. He wasn't afraid. Just as things were escalating, another voice suddenly cut through the tension. From behind Lin Mingxi, the protagonist appeared, waving as he approached. He called out to her, asking what was going on. Upon hearing his voice, Lin Mingxi's face lit up with excitement. She turned quickly and called out to him, addressing him as Xingwang. She asked what he was doing there, clearly relieved to see him. The protagonist smiled at her warmly. He explained that he'd grown a bit worried since she hadn't returned for quite a while. As he walked over and stood beside her, Leong Chao, watching from a distance, began to sweat nervously. His expression froze in disbelief. In his mind, he cursed silently. It was Hang Xingwang. She was on a date with Hang Xingwang. Realizing that, he knew he had just wasted all his effort. There was no point in continuing. Now standing close to her date, Lin Mingxi reached out and wrapped her arm around the protagonists. She then pointed straight at the man in the white suit and explained the situation. She accused the man of harassing her earlier and said that he had even touched her. Then she turned to Leong Chao, stating that although his help had felt a little strange, it did seem like he had stepped in to assist her. Hang Xingwang turned his gaze toward Leong Chao and thanked him, acknowledging that it was rare to see someone willing to stand up for others. But even as he spoke politely, a sharp thought crossed his mind. This whole situation felt oddly staged. And the supposed hero? He looked as if he'd just bitten into something rotten. Leong Chao let out an awkward, irritated laugh and brushed it off with a casual reply, saying it was nothing and he was just happy to help. But behind that strained smile, a storm brewed in his thoughts. He now realized with frustration that Lin Mingxi was already Hang Xingwang's woman. That goddess was going to be much harder to win over than he had expected. Still, Leong Chao consoled himself. He had plenty of money, and if he knew his system well enough, the tougher the goddess was to conquer, the greater the bonus would be. That made this defeat a little easier to swallow. But there was no denying it. Today's mission was officially ruined. Just then, Hang Xingwang looked over the man in the white suit who had earlier harassed Lin Mingxi. With a calm tone and a polite smile, he asked whether his backup was still coming. He pointed out that the food was getting cold and that wasn't good for digestion, especially since his friend had already had a long, tiring day. Wouldn't it be better if they finished their meal in peace? The white-suited man blinked, confused by the unexpected response. Huh? What? Lin Mingxi, sitting beside Xingwang, looked at him with admiration. His concern for her touched her deeply. In her heart, she felt something shift. To live up to that genuine care, she resolved to like him even more. Meanwhile, Leong Chao bit his finger in frustration. With Xingwang present, continuing to press Lin Mingxi now would only backfire. She would end up disliking him even more. The best move now was to retreat. He held up a hand and announced that since the lady was safe, he'd take his leave and give them some peace. As he turned to go, he discreetly signaled the white-suited man to fall back as well. While walking away, he added one last piece of advice. Know when to quit while you're ahead. Retreat. The man muttered, still processing the turn of events. As Leong Chao walked toward the lift, his thoughts swirled. That guy, Xingwang, was definitely acting, wasn't he? Could he actually be interested in Mingxi? Well, considering her beauty and status, it wouldn't be surprising. She really was goddess tier. The white-suited man followed behind, muttering bitterly to himself. So, she already had a man? What a waste of his time. But just then, Xingwang's voice rang out again, calm but firm. Wait. The man stiffened. What do you want? He asked uneasily. With a confident smile, Xingwang looked him over and asked casually where he graduated from, complimenting his acting skills. The man broke into a nervous sweat. Are you crazy? What acting? He shot back defensively. But inside, he was panicking. How the hell did this guy figure it out? Xingwang stepped closer, still smiling, and pulled Lin Mingxi gently closer into his embrace. His voice dropped a notch as he asked just how much the so-called hero had paid him for that performance. Lin Mingxi's eyes widened in shock. Her expression froze as she turned to Xingwang. Acting? So that was all fake. The man in the white suit scoffed and tried to walk away quickly, tossing a dismissive insult over his shoulder. Psycho, I'm a busy man, not here to waste words with broke people. But Xingwang didn't flinch. His voice remained calm, but it carried weight. I'll pay you 10 times the price. The man paused, turning back slowly. 10 times? You mean? Xingwang met his gaze with unshakable confidence. A smart person knows how to choose, right? His voice dropped coldly. Thinking about my woman makes me very unhappy. The scene shifted to an underground parking lot, where Leong Chao flung open his car door and sank into the driver's seat, slamming it shut behind him. His frustration boiled over as he cursed out loud. What a lousy detective. Took the money, but didn't even do the job. He slammed the steering wheel with his palm, grinding his teeth. I clearly told them to investigate the women around Xingwang, but they didn't even bother checking properly about her dating him. What a joke. Just then, a notification from his system appeared before his eyes. Friendly reminder. There are still 4 hours left until the mission deadline. Please work hard. Host seeing it only made Leong Chao angrier. He punched the wheel hard, barking at the screen. Work hard my ass. It's ruined. Completely ruined. Rubbing his head in frantic frustration, he groaned. My perfect plan for today has been completely disrupted. Then, as a twisted grin crossed his face, he hissed with clenched teeth. So what if the system deducts 5 points of favorability? I have money, don't I? Can't I just buy it back? His tone turned menacing. Xingwang, just you wait. I'll ruin your reputation in the live-streaming world. You won't see it coming. Time passed, and night fell over the city. At Lin Mingxi's place, she and Xingwang stepped into her apartment. As the door closed behind them, he casually said her name, Mingxi. Okay then, but before he could finish, she turned around and kissed him without warning. Caught by surprise, Xingwang stood frozen for a second as she leaned in closer. Her hands were soft and trembling as she reached up and gently caressed his face. Then, with no hesitation, she began undressing herself. Standing bare before him, she looked into his eyes and said, "Don't leave tonight." Xingwang, though visibly affected, quickly grabbed a jacket and draped it over her shoulders. "What are you doing?" he asked, half stern, half concerned. Her eyes widened, and sweat dotted her forehead as she replied anxiously, I really need to thank you. You helped me so much today. He gently patted her head and offered a soft smile. Silly, I didn't help you for a thank you. She looked at him, eyes filled with emotion. I know, but I just... He calmly responded, be good. You're drunk. Put your clothes on before you catch a cold. But instead of listening, she gave him another kiss, this one even more passionate than before. Xingwang hesitated, clearly battling with his own restraint. And in that moment, even he couldn't hold back anymore. He wrapped his arms around her, drawing her close. Then, a sudden realization hit him. His eyes widened in disbelief as he thought, wait a second. This isn't how this was supposed to go. Wasn't I supposed to be the domineering one here? Ugh, if I back out now, can I even call myself a man? Before he could make up his mind, she pushed him onto the bed, taking the lead. Lying there, Xingwang stared at her, heat rising in his cheeks. Her making the first move. Weirdly kind of hot. As she slowly began removing his clothes, she whispered, don't move. Let me do it myself. Xingwang looked up at her with a red face, but his smile was calm and amused. Okay, fine. As you wish. Meanwhile, in another building not far from there, two people were enjoying themselves, sipping drinks and chatting by the window. But from their vantage point, through the open curtains, Xingwang and Lin Mengxi's intimate scene was faintly visible. The next day, inside the Miao Media office building, Xinhua sat at her desk in the streamer office, hyping herself up in front of her computer. Xinhua, you can do it. Go for it. From the side, Gaowen strolled over with a confident smile and said, don't be nervous. I watched all of Lu Shui's livestream clips for the past 2 days. When it comes to singing and dancing, you're just as good as she is. And looks-wise, you've got the edge. Hearing that, Xinhua instantly replied with renewed confidence. Right. I won't let the company down. With an encouraging grin, Gaowen raised her hand and added, winning or losing is all an experience. Just do your best. Relax and show your best self. Xinhua clenched her fists with determination. Got it. Meanwhile, Gaowen headed straight into Xingwang's office. As she entered, she found him already grinning with excitement. Is the schedule set? He asked eagerly. She gave him a bright smile and answered, flights for 2 days from now, 5-star hotel, business car, all confirmed. Good. Xingwang said simply, then gestured toward his desk. Come over to the computer for a moment. She walked over, and he showed her the screen filled with data and strategy documents. How do you think we should take down Lu Shui? He asked. She stared at the screen, a bit puzzled. Take her down. Xingwang smirked. She targeted you at the bar before, and now she wants to PK with Duo Jin. I can't let that go. I see. Gaowen nodded, then added with a spark in her eyes. Women like Lu Shui only bow to 2 things. Cold hard cash, and the thrill of being dominated. Simply put, she likes rich and dominant men, preferably men who can completely overpower her. Xingwang, still smiling, thought to himself, money's the easy part, just throw it around. The flashier, the better. But acting dominant. He rubbed his nose with a finger, mulling over the idea. Me, being such a gentle and easygoing gentleman, wouldn't it be too out of character to act dominant? But before he could get lost in thought, Gaowen looked at her phone and said urgently, the PK starts in 2 minutes. Got it, Xingwang replied, casually holding up his hand in an OK and money sign. Meanwhile, in another studio room, Xinhua took a deep breath. She tapped the screen, going live, then winked playfully at the camera with a teasing smile. Good evening, everyone. The long-awaited PK is finally here. What talents do you want to see tonight? Singing? Dancing? Or? She gave a flirty twirl, showing off her figure confidently. Something a little spicier? At the same time, in a separate room, Lu Shui from the competitor company stood ready for her own live stream. She glanced sideways at Leong Chao, watching him closely as something gnawed at her. Weird. Something about Boss Leong feels totally off tonight. Still, she forced a cheerful expression, flashed an OK sign to Leong, and hit the live stream button. Hi everyone, your Shui is online right on time. I've prepared tons of surprises for everyone in the stream today. Watching everything unfold on his screen, Xingwang narrowed his eyes. Money and dominant men. It's time to show true money power. Without hesitation, He started showering gifts into the live stream. Looking at his phone, his strategy played out in his thoughts. Start sweet, then hit hard. Let's knock this out. Meanwhile, Shuyi glanced at the sudden surge of gifts on her account. Her expression shifted to one of disbelief. With a 1-2, W8. Is that really Boss Leong? No, the username's different. Something's off.